You always say that Germany, Japan, and to some extent Italy are under permanent US military occupation. Then why don't we see Germany or Japan's footballers or other renowned figures showing resentment about their country's occupation by a foreign power? Why is it so? You know, there is this very famous Korean rapper called Psy, the guy who sang Gangnam Style. It emerged after, so he released this song called Gangnam Style. It's become a phenomenon, maybe the most viewed video on YouTube, billions plus views and all that. He became a global phenomenon. And then it emerged that about 15 or so, I don't know, a decade or so ago, he had made anti-US statements on the record. He's South Korean, and he was made to publicly apologize for this and express regret for what he had said. Yeah, so it's not like people don't know. The current chancellor of Germany, Mr. Olaf Scholz, as a student, had participated in anti-US protests. But today he's a good boy, and that's why he has been appointed. He has changed his opinion. He is now reformed, and he now has been allowed to ascend to the top position in Germany, which only happens with the assent of the imperial overlord, which is the United States. So it's not like no one knows about this, but you cannot make too much of a noise about this if you know what is best for you in these nations. Um, and mostly what happens, like about a year or so ago, I spoke about Arminius. Arminius uh, was a German freedom fighter. That time there was no Germany. There were the various Germanic tribes or clans that lived in what is now Germany, and they were under the Roman yoke, under Roman occupation. This guy Arminius was the son of the chieftain of the Cherusci or some tribe. Yes. And he was taken hostage by the Romans, and he was brought up as a Roman prince, as a Roman, as part of the Roman nobility. So it was assumed by the Romans that he would be loyal to to Rome. So he was given charge of a major. He rose in the military ranks, and then he was deputed to Germany as part of the Roman occupying forces. He switched sides, and he defected to his people. He raised he kind of unified certain coalitions. He created a unified coalition of various Germanic tribes. He taught them the Roman way of warfare. He understood how the Roman war machine worked. And in the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, which happened, I think, in 9 or 8 AD, in the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, the Germans under Arminius were able to annihilate 3 Roman legions. And this set off a chain of events that within 2 centuries would end uh, in the decline and destruction of the Western Roman Empire. Yeah, it took a couple of centuries, but after this event, things started changing gradually. So Arminius is the first great German freedom fighter, you could say. He fought against imperial occupation, and this he should be a major figure in Germany. But and in the year 2009 or whatever it was, or 2012, I don't remember which year, you can look it up. That was the 2000th anniversary of the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, in which the Germans defeated the Romans. And yet almost nobody celebrated this in Germany. Why? Because this was not taught at the time in Germany's history textbooks. So if you are taught lies, you will not know what's happening. You will not know what's happening. Yeah. Germany's constitution has been written under US supervision. I'm not sure how many Germans know this. It all depends on what you're taught. Whatever you're taught as a kid, you hold on to that emotionally. And and later, if somebody tells you something else, you will react emotionally and say you're wrong. You're telling lies. For the longest time in India, children were taught that the Mughals, the Turkic occupiers of India, the brutal barbarians who bled India for 700 years, we were taught that these Mughals were the greatest saviors of India, and they were good for India. Akbar was great, and so on. Even today, if you tell a kid or a young person that Akbar was actually a brutal killer, then they will accuse you of trying to rewrite history and all that. So it doesn't matter what's happening, as long as the overall narrative by is that your nation is free and all that, then people will not know about it. All you have to do is to have a certain kind of narrative that is propagated through the education system, and the same narrative should also be reinforced by the leaders of the nation and by the media. And the media in Japan is controlled, in South Korea and Germany is controlled by pro-Western forces, and the leaders are Western puppets. So what do you expect? Yeah. Even in Pakistan, I I know for a fact that in Pakistani textbooks glorify and eulogize brutal barbarians like Ghori and Ghaznavi, yeah, who did so much harm to the ancestors of the Pakistani people. And yet today's Pakistanis consider them to be like next to God. Yeah, the Ghori and Ghaznavi. So that's how it is. That's how it goes. The power of propaganda, the power of misleading people and distorting history through the education system, through the media, and through your leaders. That's how it goes. So that's why you don't see any of this happening. Some people know about it, but they are suppressed and marginalized. That's how it goes.